I, Alexander Burton,
I, Alexander Burton,
Kalinago Council,
of the member of the Kalinago Council,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Anthony Lucien. I, Anthony Lucien,
I, Anthony Lucien,
do swear
do swear
that I will
that I will
well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duties
the duties
of the member of the Kalinago Council.
of the member of the Kalinago Council,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Deborah Philip. I, Deborah Philip,
I, Deborah Philip,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will
that I will
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duty
the duties
of a member of the Kalinago Council.
of a member of the Kalinago Council.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Janet Williams. I, Janet Williams,
I, Janet William,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will
that I will
well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duties of a member of the Kalinago Council.
the duties of a member of the Kalinago Council.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Marion Valmont. I, Marion Valmont,
I, Marion Valmont,
do affirm
do affirm
that I will
that I will
well and faithfully discharge
well and faithfully discharge
the duty of a member of the Kalinago Council.
the duties of a member of the Kalinago Council.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Gabriel Thomas. I, Gabriel Thomas,
I, Gabriel Thomas,
do affirm that I will well and faithfully discharge the duty of a member of the Kalinago Council.
Kalinago Council.
So help me God.
So help me God. Signature.
Thank you very much, the Justice of the Peace, Mr. Masklem Frederick, and the Honorable Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs, Family and Gender Affairs for the administration of OFF. Ladies and gentlemen, your new Kalinago Council, put your hands together for your new team. I need to inform you this afternoon that the Kalinago Council is a unique council. It is the only local authority or council in Dominica that serves a 5-year term. It is the only local authority where all the members are elected. And it's the only local authority where there are separate elections for the chairman of the council and the councillor. So indeed, the Kalinago Council is unique by itself. In fact, it was established by an act of parliament, established in 1978 by Act number 14 of 1978. And so birth was given to the Kalinago Council. And so it is in fact very unique as far as local development management is concerned in Dominica. At this time, of course, I did mention that there are separate elections for the chief and the councillors. And of course, it's very symbolic that the Kalinago chief is the chairman of the council, and the position of chief itself for the Kalinago people is indeed symbolic. And so, to recognize the significance and importance of such a position, I will now call on His Excellency the President to assist us in the investiture of the Kalinago chief, and I'll call on the Kalinago chief, Mr. Lorenzo Micah Sanford, to come on stage. Thank you very much, His Excellency the President. All right, again, congratulations to Chief Lorenzo Micah Sanford. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's my privilege to call on the podium the individual who was at the helm of the Kalinago Council for the last 5 years. It's my pleasure to call to the podium the former chief, Charles Williams, to give his outgoing address. Please make him feel welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your Excellency the President, Mr. Charles Savre and Mrs. Savre, Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, Honorable Minister Catherine Dundell, Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs, Parliamentary Representative for the Kalinago Territory and Minister of Kalinago Affairs, Honorable Cassius Daru, Pastor Tony Cornelius, our local chaplain in the community, incoming Kalinago Chief, Mr. Lorenzo Micah Sanford, other parliamentary representatives, and other members of cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, the position of Kalinago chief, in that position, much is expected from the chief and much is expected from the council. However, in my 5-year term, I want to thank those persons who at least gave me the mandate to serve them in the last 5-year term. And I also want to thank those persons who gave me the first mandate so that I could have served a first 5-year term in the Kalinago territory as your chief. Much is expected in the position when you're chief of the Kalinago territory, because growing up in a community like the Kalinago territory, where we do not have a strong economy, where people can grow very independently, people will expect much to come from the council. And as usual, this is the general norm of the day. However, whatever our expectations are, the Kalinago chief and council can only function within the Kalinago Act or the Carib Act. And that act on its own, for the chief, I must say, doesn't have much to offer the chief as an individual. Every decision of the council must be the decision of the council as a body, not from the chief as an individual. And decisions, and for the chief and for the council to succeed, decisions have to be implemented by the staff of the council. However, at this point in time, we only have one clerk of the council and an assistant clerk. So far, that is the staff that the council has to function with over the period of 5 years. And several of our decisions have been taken but not really implemented. And we look at decisions like bylaws for the protection of our water catchments and for different activities in the Kalinago territory, some of which the past council did in fact take, but never really already surfaced. Because according to the Act, any decision that we have to take when it comes to bylaws and things of that nature, it has the minutes of that meeting has to go down to the cabinet so the cabinet could give approval for the decisions of the council to take effect. And unfortunately, I want to report this afternoon that most of our decisions in that regard failed us because most of the minutes of the council never went down to the cabinet of the council. And when you have, sometimes, if we take that decision and it's not gone down to the council, then we'll try to follow up on that by calling other meetings of members of the council. But sometimes when you call a meeting so that we could look at the shortcomings of the council in that regard, sometimes instead of having the things in the Kalinago territory well solarized and ready to open, and some of them were already functional when Hurricane Maria struck. Unfortunately, we were negotiating with Domlec for the implementation, for the connection of the solar farm to Domlec's grid. But unfortunately, Maria struck and the solar project went down. Even the public buildings that were already operational, everything went down. And instead of Hurricane Maria, probably we had a hurricane of Manaya because our own people, men destroyed the solar facility more than the hurricane did. In every aspect, whether it was on the public buildings or whether it was on the solar farm, I can tell you that these facilities were well on its way to succeed in the Kalinago territory, but our own people destroyed it. And at the end of the day, you hear council not doing anything. Anyhow, that is the story behind it, and that is how it went. We also have our Kalinago bakery functional and operating now. And I am pleased to say that our bread is in high demand within the territory, and that is very good. Although one of our key ovens are not yet functional and operational, but our bread is in fact circulating in the Kalinago territory. Another thing that we did after Hurricane Maria, we were very instrumental in assisting our people with relief supplies. And then well, we want to thank all the donors who at least assisted us with food supplies, water, and as of this week, we had a team of donors from Martinique who came and assisted us with some 200 solar lamps because we requested that support from them after Maria, and some of the support that we requested is still coming to fluid right now in the Kalinago territory. And not only solar lamps, but they also brought along school supplies for the schools of the Kalinago territory, and we want to thank them for that. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said earlier on, the council have a responsibility for the overall development of the Kalinago territory, but we can only do so within the Act. And we can only do so with the staff that we have to push the work and the decision of the Kalinago Council has in fact taken. But when we have members of staff who doesn't take the decision of the council and doesn't work on the decision of the council, and you would call the council forward to look at what action you can take to remedy that situation, and councillors themselves falling short, then we can ask ourselves, how much can we expect from a council like that? So that was what happened to us. However, as I said, another thing I want to say that I am very proud that I was able to achieve was the UWI scholarship. And the UWI scholarship, we have about approximately 40-somebody students coming from the Kalinago territory, going for the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies. And even as I speak, I remember that we made contact with another French organization that is offering us scholarships for technical, for college studies and secondary school studies at this point in time, and that is available at the council. Ladies and gentlemen, much is expected of the Kalinago territory. I can recall in my term of office, I did in fact call for us to get a piece of Roseau. And I think that is very, very important, because as first people of this country, we have all other persons coming onto this island and controlling the economy of this country. We have, if you recall, we had a bus stop right close to where we have the KFC, right up there. And the Kalinago people had to move from that point to another location to make room for the functioning of maybe the operations of the commercial business in Roseau. But we, the Kalinago people, does not have the opportunity to at least have to set up a business in Roseau. And I think in that respect, I was thinking of, in fact, I had discussed that with the mayor of Roseau. And because we were looking at decking above the Roseau River between Raful and where our original bus stop was there. And if we could get that permission to do that, we could set up a facility up there that where we could establish some good commercial business for the Kalinago people and the Kalinago territory that would create some form of revenue for the Kalinago people. Because as the first people, we are the poorest on island, while the people who came are in the controlling seat of the economy of this country. And it's time for us to think differently and see how we can do what we can do to change that situation in the Kalinago territory. While maybe think it's a joke to laugh that we can to ask for a piece of Roseau, but definitely, if we have a piece of Roseau right there, when you look at Dominica and you look at the potential that this area would have for business, from Capuchin all the way down to Roseau itself, down the west coast. Every bus stop is in that area. When you check all the Roseau Valley area, people like Grand Bay, Roseau Valley, and all those, the market is right there where the people sell their vegetable. And on the east coast, from Calibishi, Marigot, Wesley, Woodford Hill, Kalinago territory, at Kingston, Castle Bruce, that area again is where our bus stop is. And if we can set up a commercial enterprise in that area, we will go places for the Kalinago people. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you all another thing to think about. At one time, I called for us to establish a tour for the Kalinago territory. But as I say so, I remember when we had a discussion with the government, and a certain member of cabinet at the point in time was there. They asked me, he turned back and they asked me, what about if we put a tour for you at Cassie Bruce? Or a tour for you at Marigot? But at the end of the day, lots of things is happening in the Kalinago territory, and we need to have a level of control for what is happening in the territory, because people, strangers come in, especially non-Kalinago people from outside of the territory, come into the territory, and they peddle a lot of drugs in the Kalinago territory. And if we have some control at the borders of the territory, we can also use it to our advantage by charging a tour for from the visiting tourists, and that would also assist in some form of employment and some economy for the Kalinago people. Ladies and gentlemen, we have much to do in the Kalinago territory, but as a people, we have to come together and work with the Kalinago chief and council, because the chief and the council on his own cannot do it. And we need to come together as a people, and we need to come with together other ideas, because no man is an island on his own. And we have to come together and bring forward our ideas to make the development of the Kalinago territory work, and work for the betterment of all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the former chief of the Kalinago Council, Mr. Charles William. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to call to address you the newly inaugurated or newly elected, newly sworn in chief of the Kalinago Council, Mr. Lorenzo Micah Sanford.
His Excellency, Mr. Charles Sovereign, A. Sovereign, DAH, and Mrs. Sovereign, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Investment, Housing and Lands, Honorable Catherine Daniel, Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs, Family and Gender Affairs, Honorable Cassius Daru, Parliamentary Representative for Salibia Constituency and Minister for Kalinago Affairs, other government ministers, Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Charles Williams, Outgoing Chief, Pastor Anthony Cornelius, Mr. Masklem Frederick, Justice of Peace, Mr. Vanti Auguste, former parliamentary representatives, Mr. Kozia Frederick, former Kalinago Chief and councillors, incoming chief and councillors, other councillors in the district, police officers, the media, invitees, community residents. The leadership of each generation receives the collective successes and challenges of the past, and is expected to use them to make life better for the present and future generations. More importantly, the new leaders must turn their own vision, intuition, and initiative into policies, programs, and action to get the desired result. No new chief or council can just step in and think that it is business as usual. They must always seek and leave a positive and memorable mark, as all people desire more and better of all leaders. The young demand and deserve the education, training, guidance, and wise counsel in order to contribute meaningfully to the progress of all people. Grown men and women need opportunities for social and economic advancement. They must be given a fair and reasonable chance to live in comfort and provide for their family and save for the future. The elderly must be cared for so that they can live their lives in pride and dignity, because they have brought us thus far. As your chief, along with the new council, we intend to engage all sectors of the Kalinago population in consultation and together we shall chant a new and dynamic course for our future of our people. The vision, energy, vibrance, creativity of our youth is the most valuable asset which can no longer be ignored. They will definitely be called upon to play a more vital role in our governance and decision-making process. Our grown men and women have skills, knowledge, experience, which they have used for our survival. In this modern era, they must be better organized in order to take advantage of the available opportunities provided by various state agencies. Where there is none, they must be empowered to create their own opportunities and be given the support to be sustainable and to succeed. Our elderly have much to offer for the rest of us. Their vast treasure of knowledge can and must be exploited in order to preserve our heritage and develop a more positive culture of living. They too will be engaged for their advice and wise counsel. My Kalinago people, there is another very important sector of our family. They have the ability, knowledge, skills, attitude to play a greater role in formulating and enhancing the development agenda of our people and the territory. I am referring to the Kalinago College and university-trained professionals. Without any doubt, they are among our brightest and best minds. As the head of the Kalinago Council, I pledge to develop a strong relationship among chief, council, and our trained and qualified professionals. We shall seek their advice and utilize their skills for the upliftment of our nation. Brothers and sisters, as I stated in my campaign to be your chief, it is time for revival, a new beginning for the Kalinago people in our homeland. Waitukubuli. For this new beginning to become reality, for this new beginning to become reality, every Kalinago man, woman, child, at home and abroad must stand ready to play their part. Collectively, we have the capacity to create bright and prosperous future for all generations to come. We can use our natural and human resources to create capital and wealth for our Kalinago family. My people, the signs of these new beginnings are already evident with our youth. Nayabel and Adisha Burton have proven to the world that a Kalinago can be number one in Dominica and among the best in the Caribbean. We praise them for enhancing our image as a people and wish all our students success in their studies. Our special Olympians are world Olympians. Their victory is our victory. Our sportsmen, especially cricketers, have headed higher both in administration and on the field. Our young Kalinago Braves have just brought us a championship trophy from St. Lucia to Dominica. These are a few of our people's recent achievements. The potential to exceed is in us, and we can do it. My dear people, another thing which is necessary for our vision to become reality is the urgent need for our people to get organized. Our skilled people must form groups, cooperatives, associations, partnerships, or even companies, craft makers and vendors, boat builders and fisher folks come together. Our small contractors will be better able to get bigger jobs or projects and earn much more money if they unite and become a company. When they put their resources together, they will be able to access more fundings to invest in equipment and training, or farmers and professionals in agriculture will be in position to produce more and benefit from market opportunities. The message is clear. We must get organized in order to take maximum advantage of the opportunities present themselves. Brothers and sisters, though we possess much of what we need to succeed in this modern era, we need to face the reality, and we cannot do it alone. We need fundings and other forms of assistance from outside of the territory. With this in mind, we hope to have an amicable working relationship with central government and other agencies. Through a process of consultation as equal at the table, we shall work on policies, programs, and projects for the development of the territory and for the advancement of our people. We view ourselves as partners in a common cause, no more rubber stamps, nor opponents. That common cause is the upliftment of the Kalinago people. We shall establish relationships and network with other indigenous peoples, organizations, and professionals globally. Through this, we shall benefit from knowledge and resources and best practices. There is much to be derived from such vintages. We need us to put ourselves in position to play a meaningful role in the international indigenous brother and sisterhood. It is my hope and desire that all Kalinago brothers and sisters will offer their skills, talent, and resources when called upon to assist your chief and council. You will be called upon to write project proposals, business plans, in order to access resources from national, regional, and international governments and funding agencies. My people, in due time, you will be informed of the specific details of our plans. You, the people, will be consulted for your inputs in fine-tuning and framing the final outcome. You shall be involved in every stage of the process. The people will be an integral part of the decision-making and governance of the Kalinago territory. We cannot overemphasize that the need for people with like interests to get organized into formal registered groups. Together, you have a stronger voice when negotiating or making demands. This also has the added benefit of making the consultative process simpler. Representatives of the youth, sportsmen, senior citizens, educators, and other sectors will be better able to present their views to the chief and council. Finally, I will tell you, my people, that it is my intention to fulfill my campaign promises that I stated in my commitment plan. Of course, they may be modified and enhanced after consultation with those who possess the relevant knowledge, skills, and attitude. My brothers and sisters, we can accomplish so much more as a united people with a common vision and purpose. Together, the Kalinago people will advance to the brighter future where we can be productive, contented, and confident. A time where there will be unity and peace amongst us. A time where our children will smile and learn. A time when the youth can fulfill their dreams and aspirations. A time and place where our elderly can share their knowledge and live in dignity as they prepare to leave us. My Kalinago people, let's catch and share that vision of new beginnings. Future generations will bless and honor our memory if we make it a reality. I don't even consider the opposite. We have to do it now. We must do it now, and we can do it now. May the great spirit of our ancestors bless and guide our thoughts, words, and deeds, as the Kalinago people prepare to march into the future with a vision and confidence. Long live the Kalinago people. Long live the Ubuntu and Council. Long live Waitukubuli. Thank you, my people. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed, a very powerful message by a very powerful young man. And certainly, with this powerful message, and of course with the collaborative efforts of the residents of the Kalinago territory and of course central government, indeed, this Kalinago territory will become a model for Dominica, the rest of the region, and the world. Again, our newly sworn-in Kalinago chief. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first meeting of the Kalinago Council, and of course, importantly, the meeting of the council is chaired by the chairman and the Kalinago chief. Kalinago chief is the chairman of the council, so I will ask him to take us through the rest of the proceedings. Thank you very much.
Now we call on Honorable Cassius Daru, Parliamentary Representative for the Kalinago Salvia constituency and Minister for Kalinago Affairs.
His Excellency, Mr. Charles A. Savre, DAH, and Mrs. Savre, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Honorable Catherine Daniel, Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs and Gender Affairs, other ministers of government, but I'd like to single them out, Dr. Colin McIntyre, Honorable Ian Douglas, Honorable Johnson Drygo, Honorable Rosalind Paul, Honorable Reginald Austri, and my cousin, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru. Also, we have local government Commissioner, Mr. Glenroy Tuse, outgoing Kalinago chief, but he will always remain a chief, Mr. Charles Williams, Pastor Brother Cornelius, Mr. Masclem Frederick, Justice of the Peace, Mr. Vanti Ogis, former parliamentary representatives, Mr. Ashton and Mr. Kelly Grano, Mr. Kozia Frederick, former development officer in the Ministry of Kalinago Affairs, former Kalinago chief and councillors, incoming chief and councillors, other councils in neighboring districts, police officers, medias, the media, invitees, and the residents of the Kalinago community, good afternoon. After listening to our newly elected Kalinago chief, really I'm wondering, should I delete some of what I'm going to say? Because it is already said in the best tone. But since I have to say something, I will bring a little bit of history, well, 2 pieces of history, and I will continue what I have to say. This month, 89 years ago, we had the uprising dubbed as the Carib War. The British brought on us, the Kalinago people, diseases to which we had no immunity. These diseases significantly reduced the Kalinago population, yet we survived. In 1930, we were attacked where our people were traumatized, and we had bloodshed, we had death, and we survived. This month, 2 years ago, we were witness to one of the most devastating hurricanes to impact our beautiful Waiti Kubuli. It was on September 18th when we woke up to no surprise, but we survived. And today, it is no surprise that with the uprising of a new Kalinago brother, a new Kalinago chief, we shall survive. I would like to first take this opportunity to congratulate my young Kalinago brother for rising up to the occasion by putting yourself forward to represent us, the Kalinago people. It's an honor to have you as my chief, because many times we, the older people, are of the view that our young men are problems to society. You have made us proud, and surely we shall work with you to ensure that we as a Kalinago people remain the proud people. We will welcome all the contributions that you can make, and as a majority of us, we shall rally with you to ensure that in spite of all the best chief we have had in the past, you will certainly go down in the books of history as our best chief. In you, sir, I see you as a decent young man. Sorry. a champion of the 21st century warrior with a vision for our people, and you as a true leader. To you, the councillors, I want also to congratulate you all for getting yourself involved and putting yourselves forward to represent us at the local governance. When we put ourselves forward, however, we must be reminded that we are putting ourselves forward to serve the people first and not ourselves first. And so if we put people first and put ourselves second, we will surely ensure that the development of our community is on par with the rest of the country. And once we are not hindered by petty biasness, we shall move forward and we shall survive. While I'm of the opinion that we must protect, however, and preserve our culture, we cannot allow culture, norms, and folkways and belief to retard our development. There is a point in time where we need to put modernity with modesty and the past to ensure that our future remains bright. Too many times, I feel we complain that our development is not on par with the rest of the country when we are the ones hindering it. The Kalinago community, I may say, that was the first community to benefit under the housing program post-Maria. However, because of the decision of the councils, we were denied the opportunity to be the first community to benefit from 66 apartment buildings in the Kalinago territory. And in consultation, the government requested that the council's contribution be given so that appropriate actions could be taken. However, up to this date, we have yet to receive anything. I'm not saying this to blame the Kalinago chief, neither councils, but what I'm saying is there is a time for us to put things where they are supposed to be and ensure that the community is first our priority. There are a number of community road projects, for example, that I as Minister of Kalinago Affairs and the Development Officer, that we had to work outside of the Kalinago Council to ensure that road development happens in the community. And I'm imploring to this current council that we need to work collective to ensure that the community is always first and not our petty biasness. If we don't work collective, I can assure you, councillors and chief, that we might be holding the bitter end to development once we are not collective. Let's work with the community. Let's work with the local governance. Let us work with the parliamentary representative. Let us work with central government to ensure that our priorities are well met. I say, without a doubt, with collective effort and collaboration with central government, we can see greater development in the Kalinago community. Whilst we continue to pray for the people of the Bahamas, let us also continue to pray for our community, for the betterment of our housing stocks, betterment in the quality of life that we live, and our socio-economic development. This government and this administration, the Dominican Labour Party, has always been concerned about the housing stock in the Kalinago community. And that's why we have invested in the housing development in Sineku, Maho River, Gullet River, Sensi, Point, Salibia, Bataka, Tuna. And recently, we have constructed 10 new homes, 10 sustainable new homes in the community of Sineku, where persons are currently in their brand new homes, living happily. Also, there's continuation of works in the Tuna community where we are constructing another 10 sustainable homes, and families will be entering their home in at least the next 2 to 3 months. As we continue to develop, we in terms of the housing stocks, we have just well, not yet approved, but soon to be approved, 50 new homes for the Kalinago community under the European funded projects. And this, I believe, is good news for many of our individuals who really and truly should have had a home at least many months ago. But because of the decision of some of our leaders in the community, we were denied that opportunity. Also, constituents and my fellow Kalinago brothers, there are funds available in the ministry for the development of many projects in the community. And I may just mention a few. In this financial year, we have $0.5 million for the development of an agricultural station in and within the territories of the Kalinago territory. And may I say that this $0.5 million, well, it was there already last year. And again, I need this council for us to put our foot forward quickly. Instead of mark timing, we need to forward march. And not only forward march, but we need to go quick forward to ensure that we do utilize those funds that are available to us. And really and truly, it's not for the benefit of Honorable Reginald Austri. Honorable Reginald Austri is way in Poso. While he is the Minister of Agriculture, if we have our farms established in the Kalinago territory, we are going to be the primary beneficiaries of such project. Also, we have $500,000 for the development of an emergency center that we have been in discussion with the Kalinago Council. And I'm asking for this new council, let us forward march to ensure that we utilize these funds for the protection of our people in case of a disaster. There is also $1 million for small business development. And as early as next week, we shall see the disbursement of about $450,000 being disbursed from this fund for small business development in the Kalinago territory. And of course, there's a $60,000 for emergency assistance in the Ministry of Kalinago Affairs. Currently, my Kalinago people, discussion is still ongoing, re-establishing the Kalinago territory, Atkinson and Antrizal as a health district on its own. And we need to continue the development of this discussion that we are having. Kalinago Chief, we usually, the elderlies, they look upon us for guidance. While we think that there's a wealth of knowledge in them, they too are expecting brighter days from us. And I want to implore onto our chief and our council, let us take the correct decision to ensure that our future generations don't regret. Because they surely too will blame us when they make their mistakes. Like the lady is always putting the blame on the serpent. The man is also putting his blame on the man, saying that this is what she caused me to do. Let us take decisions today to ensure that the future of the Kalinago people is bright. I want to wish us well. Let us walk the walk. Let's do less talking and let's take more action. We need to kill the gossip industry and talk positive and lift our people, our community, and our country. There is no place for negative energies. With this chief and council, I want us to keep the link of the chain always connected and never break it, so that we can see a bright and prosperous Kalinago community and a Kalinago people. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Cassius Daru. Right now, call upon Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs and Family and Gender Affairs, Honorable Catherine Daniel.
Good afternoon to everyone. Let me recognize the presence of His Excellency the President, Mr. Charles A. Savre and Mrs. Savre, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Investments, Housing and Lands, Honorable Deputy Honorable Reginald Austri, other ministers of government, cabinet colleagues, Permanent Secretary Sylvanie Burton, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Glenroy Tusa, Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Charles Williams, Outgoing Kalinago Chief, New Kalinago Chief, Mr. Stanford, Lorenzo Stanford, Pastor Anthony Cornelius, so long I know that name, Clem Frederick, so Mr. Clem Frederick, Justice of the Peace, Mr. Vanti August, former parliamentary representatives, Mr. Kelly Grano and Mr. Ashton Grano, Mr. Kozia Frederick, Miss Octavia Alfred, incoming chief and councillors, other councillors in the district who are here, police officers, the media, invited guests, and community residents. I'm really happy to be here today. This is the first inauguration we've had in that capacity since Maria. All other inaugurations have been done silently, quietly. So this is the first, so I hope this is an omen for great things to come for this Kalinago territory. And I'm really delighted to address you as Minister with responsibility for local government on this occasion of the 9th inaugural meeting of the Kalinago Council. I need to register my hearty approbation for you in the Kalinago territory for having firmly established yourselves as part of the local government system in Dominica. Over 40 years of institutionalized local governance. This is certainly an occasion to celebrate. Let me congratulate the new council for taking up the mantle to serve the Kalinago territory. And I listened carefully to the incoming chief, the new chief now of the Kalinago, and the way he went about selling himself, selling his plans to the people. No wonder you were elected chief. Congratulations. Mr. Lorenzo Mika Stanford, perhaps you are the youngest ever Kalinago chief. I am certainly pleased to see a good balance of youth and experience, male and female, serving on this council. So the gender equity is there all along. It is really heartwarming to see young people putting themselves forward to work with more mature and experienced persons towards the development of their community. You are expected to bring to the table novel, innovative ideas which will bring unprecedented growth to your community. Likewise, experienced councillors, I expect you to provide an element of stability to the council. I trust that you will use your wisdom and experience to assist in piloting the council in the right direction. One of the things that I heard is your minutes not being gazetted. And I hope this is one of the things that you will do as a council so that your plans, your minutes, your finances can be gazetted and that everyone will know what you're about. It's not cabinet, but gazetted. Council, I urge you to set sound, realistic, achievable goals and to be united in your efforts to accomplish them. I further urge you to embark upon this 5-year journey with determination to move the Kalinago territory to a new realm of development. Let your council become the beacon of light that other councils around Dominica are looking for inspiration and example. Let your council serve as a symbol of hope to encourage and strengthen others, especially the youth, to aspire toward your level of success. And I think as a young chief, you have given hope to a lot of young people. And I really thank you. I see a bright future in you, Mr. Sanford. I salute the outgoing chief and councillors. Your efforts and accomplishments during your tenure are appreciated. On behalf of the government, I extend profound gratitude to you. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, one of the functions of local government is to create an effective communication channel between central government and the local community. Your close relationship with your parliamentary representative is testimony to a good working relationship between central and local government. I am very pleased that your council has worked in close collaboration with your PALREP to identify, develop, and implement a number of community projects. Although I heard that the PALREP had to do create some other avenues to expedite work. So I just hope this new council, things will work in tandem and we'll have a smooth sailing and smooth running for the development of your people. Many persons in your community have benefited from initiatives such as the housing assistance, as explained, sanitation and washroom facility, small business, pension allowance, cleanup and beautification, and most importantly, the education assistance. And the education assistance started from primary school to university. No government in the history of this country has done so much to enhance the life of its people. Only a Dominican Labour Party government has created that space, the opportunities to so achieve, and we will continue to do that. Residents, these initiatives by the central government, working through the dynamic leadership of your parliamentary representative, in collaboration with your council, are all part of government's thrust to bring social and economic development closer to the people who need them, and ultimately to make things better for you, the people whom we serve. I trust that this relationship with your parliamentary representative will continue throughout the life of this new council and many councils to come. So by next year, you'll be working in tandem with your new parliamentary representative. Give him the support that he needs. Rest assured that this Labour Party government, under the progressive leadership of Dr. Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, is committed to improving the quality of life of the people of Dominica, especially the most vulnerable ones among us, and it is reflected in the 2019-2020 budget, where allocations have been made for the continuation of these programs, which touch the lives of many Dominicans, especially in the Kalinago territory. I know that the PM has a soft spot for the Kalinago people, and will do everything possible to enhance your way of life. I do not know about the Roseau part, whether you'll get half of that, but we will work with you all to ensure that you will get your share. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to be mindful of the gains that have been made in the Kalinago territory as a result of the various projects implemented there. Some of the funds for these projects have come from the much envied Citizenship by Investment Program, popularly known as the CBI. While there are some people who desire to see an end to the program, I call on you to stand in solidarity with government with respect to the CBI program and to recognize the significance of the program on our socio-economic development. Rest assured that this program is solid and your government, the Dominican Labour Party government, will continue to exercise prudence in the execution of the programs for the common good of all Dominicans. No one will be left behind. Residents of the Kalinago territory, I am happy that you have turned out in support of your new council, and you have turned out in large numbers. This is a very good indication. You will agree with me that the 7 people who form the composition of the council cannot do it alone. Work closely with them, support their programs and activities, agree to disagree, and at the end, ensure that everything is done in the best interest of the territory. As the old saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall. On another note, the phenomenon known as climate change is very much a reality for us in Dominica, having been impacted so frequently in recent years by adverse weather events. Who can forget the individual and national losses suffered as a result of Hurricane Maria? Notwithstanding, Dominica remains strong, and we are rebuilding with greater resilience. The Honorable Prime Minister continues to demonstrate exemplary leadership through the process of recovery. He spared no effort in declaring his vision of building the first climate resilient country in the world, and has called on all Dominicans and friendly partners to join in this colossal undertaking. Councils have a critical role to play in the post-Maria era of building community and national resilience. I wish to suggest some key areas in which your council could play a role. Strengthening the disaster response capacity at the community level as one of the areas. Develop an active disaster management plan, which not only addresses your response capacity to storms or hurricanes, but also indicates how to respond to droughts and rain events that occur outside of the hurricane season. A second initiative, collaborate with central government and partners to build and sustain local capacity for early warning. Community leaders are closest to people. Given our topography and challenges with radio and emergency communication, information with regard to approaching weather systems can be effectively transmitted from person to person and by local warning modalities, such as the use of the conch shell and the bell to alert our people of an impending weather system. Develop local response mechanisms. The council must lead the way in ensuring that there are trained persons in the community at the community level who can support the official first responders to conduct search and rescue, clearing of roads, damage and needs assessment, and to independently and fairly coordinate early stages of relief distribution after an event. Enhancing the resilience of water resources. While we all work to prepare to combat storms, seasonal droughts, flash flooding and landslides, we must aim to develop rainwater harvesting, bolster our national water management capacity with local or community capacity. It means the development and maintenance of indigenous sources of what we call SUS should be explored by the council. And I think you may have a lot around the Kalinago territory. The council should work closely with the WASCO and the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry to protect water catchment areas, institute irrigation systems where applicable, and ensure that in a country so blessed with an abundance of water, we are never short of water for domestic purposes and farming. It would be remiss of me not to remind you that we are in the peak of the hurricane season, and the Atlantic is becoming increasingly active. Just a few days ago, we saw the impact of Hurricane Dorian, which created havoc in the Bahamas. Our prayers are with our sister island, the Bahamas, because the impact of that hurricane, imagine you sitting there, somebody with a hammer hitting you and not moving on your head for how many hours? And it was worse than that in the Bahamas. So let's keep them in our prayers as always. I wish to urge everyone to take precautionary measures to ensure that you are in a state of readiness in the event of any impact. I also wish to encourage the Council to spearhead the efforts in organizing a community disaster management program by ensuring that the Disaster Preparedness Committee is active and roles are clearly defined. The Office of Disaster Management and the Division of Local Government are available to assist you in whatever way possible. In closing, let me again thank the outgoing Council and wish them the best in their individual pursuits. Once again, I take great pleasure in welcoming the new Council and wishing you a successful term of office. The Ministry of Ecclesiastical Affairs, Family and Gender Affairs pledges to support the initiatives and programs of the Council. The Local Government Division is always willing to work with you, and I trust that you will continue to work with them. Let us ask the Almighty for his merciful arms to enfold us, protecting our dearly beloved Dominica from all harm. Let us not fail to give him praise and thanks in everything that we do. May God bless you. May God bless the Commonwealth of Dominica. May God bless specifically the new Kalinago Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Catherine Daniel. Right now, we listen to the address by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Investments, Housing and Lands, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit.
Thank you very much. Let me, first of all, recognize in our presence our President, His Excellency Charles Savre, and his dear wife, Mrs. Savre. Also, our Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Reginald Austrie, Honorable Catherine Daniel, our Minister for Family and Gender Affairs, Honorable Cassius Daru, our Parliamentary Representative for the Salibia constituency, and the Minister for Kalinago Affairs. My other minister colleagues who are here present. We have Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, the Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Charles Williams, who is the former Kalinago Chief, Pastor Anthony Cornelius, who has been making a great contribution to the education of our children in the Kalinago territory of Lighthouse. And so we want to thank you for your presence in our country. Also recognize Mr. Masklem Frederick, the Justice of the Peace, Father Vanti August, my two colleagues, Honorable Mr. Kelly Grano and Mr. Ashton Grano, our former Parliament representatives, Mr. Kozia Frederick, our former Kalinago chiefs and councillors. I see Mr. Garnett Joseph here, who's been at the forefront of issues relating to Kalinago affairs for a very long time. So I'd like to recognize him in a special way. My dear friend, our new Kalinago chief, Mr. Lorenzo Sanford, our newly sworn-in councillors, other councillors in the district, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family from the Kalinago territory. I want to say to you from the onset that to the chief that I will ensure, as Minister of Finance, that you will be noted by history to be the most successful Kalinago chief we would have seen in the history of the Kalinago people. And I say so for a number of reasons. On a personal level, I know your family very well. And as a matter of fact, your grandmother's home would be the first home I would visit in Bataka. And I've had coffee there many times. I know her as Ma'am. Others may know her as other things, but close family friends would know her as Ma'am. And she sits here, she looks very young. She's younger than me, but she is about 3 times my age. And also, I believe that the Kalinago territory under your leadership, and with the absolute backing of the government I have the honor to lead, will seek to implement a number of very important economic and social programs which will benefit every family and every individual in this community. There are a number of very urgent matters that are on your agenda. One has to do with the allocation of lots so that the government can come in and build the homes for the Kalinago people. The Kalinago people need these homes, and they need these homes urgently, and the government needs access to the land because the land is vested in the Kalinago chief, and therefore, even as Prime Minister, I cannot come in and say, I will take this land and put something on it. I need to get the authorization. And so I want us to work together, because we have in excess of 150 homes with funding available to build these homes for the Kalinago people. And so we need to move with speed, because I know of many families who are in desperate need of a resilient, safe home that they can feel comfortable and safe in the event of a natural disaster. So I want us to work on this very quickly. The other thing we need to work on is the allocation of the lands to build and to erect an agricultural station in the territory. And one of the reasons behind this agricultural station is because we believe that we need to assure and ensure the food security of the Kalinago territory. And with the huge opportunities in agriculture, especially with cassava and its byproducts, there are huge economic opportunities in agriculture for the Kalinago people. But you need access to planting material. You need access to technical advice. And you also need access to financing. And with the physical presence of our agricultural station, you would have access to a number of these very important elements that would enhance the agricultural possibilities. Because what I would like to see, not only in the Kalinago territory, but the whole of Dominica, is for us to launch a national fruit tree planting program in Dominica. That every home in Dominica, where possible, should have at least one fruit in their backyard. You know, an avocado tree, a breadfruit tree, that we can feed ourselves from time to time. And so I would like us to work on this very quickly so we can have this going. The funds are available. It has been budgeted. We have had to roll it over because we have not had access to the lands. I also want us to work together on the construction of a more respectable office, a center for the Kalinago Council, for the Kalinago Chief, and to provide better services to the residents of the Kalinago territory. I remember coming here and speaking to the Kalinago Chief and speaking to the council. I brought in architects, I brought in engineers, and it never went through. And I'm saying to us that we need to get these things going, where we can have a cultural center to complement this facility, where the cultural art forms can be displayed. I also want to put at your feet, my dear brother, the construction of a craft center. Yes, it's okay sometimes for us to be selling our craft by the roadside, but we're not going to make much money if we sell by the roadside. We have to have a center where the tourists can come in with appropriate facilities. There'll be a restaurant, there'll be washrooms, there'll be entertainment, and that whenever throughout the 365 days of the year, we can have access to the Carib craft. And not only during the narrow tourist season as we define it. And that we can teach Dominicans and our visitors to our country how to make the craft on the spot. And I believe that would lend to tremendous economic possibilities and opportunities for the Kalinago people where the craft is concerned. As I said on Sunday, I have spoken to the new hotels here in Dominica. And I've said to them that we need to craft a special dispensation, a special arrangement for the Kalinago territory so that we can see more of the tourist dollar get into the Kalinago territory and circulating within the economy. And this is one of the reasons why I invited you, and you were part of my delegation, to Miami, even before you were sworn in, so that you yourself could engage the cruise lines directly and speak on behalf of the Kalinago people. And I want to report to you that he even spoke much better than me at the meetings. You know, he was very articulate and very clear on what he would like to see where tourism is concerned and where the stakeholders can work hand in hand with the Kalinago people. And this is not the first, this will not be the only opportunity you will have to travel with the Prime Minister so that you can speak directly and more clearly on the issues relating to the indigenous people of Dominica. So we will certainly engage you on this. I want to also say to us that many people do not know it, but I'm a student of history. I used to be a history prodigy. I got the history prize at high school, I got the history prize at college, and I also beat a number of American students in writing an essay on American history. So I have a keen interest in history. And I want to put to you, my dear Council and Kalinago Chief, that I believe that in the third decade of the 21st century, for a people that have contributed so much to this country, the Kalinago people, who defended the patrimony of this country against colonizers, I believe the time has come for us to recognize the Kalinago people in a special way, that come 2020, we should have a national holiday to recognize the contributions of the Kalinago people. I know, and I know there has been a debate in the Kalinago territory among historians and scholars as to which of the days that we should use to recognize the contributions of the Kalinago people. And I know that July 4th is the date of the founding of the Kalinago territory. And then you have September 19th, 1930, the Carib Uprising, where the Kalinago people defended the patrimony of this country and defended the integrity of the Kalinago people. Now, you know, as I always said, Vekas was one of the first settlements of the Kalinago people. So I will not engage myself in the debate here, but I wait to be advised by the Kalinago chief to which of his two dates. I have my own preference from a historical standpoint, from an ideological standpoint, but that is left for the Kalinago people to determine which of the two dates you will have, so we can have the necessary decisions of the cabinet and have it put in as a national holiday for the Kalinago people. In respect to education, you know, this party, which I have the honor to lead, has been at the forefront of the education of our people. You know that even when we were in opposition, we educated people in the Kalinago territory. That the first medical doctor was trained by a Labour Party in opposition. And when we in government, the first lawyer was under Labour. The first permanent secretary was under Labour. And so we have a history of looking after the education of our people. And there has been a revolution in education in the Kalinago territory, spearheaded by this government. And I heard Mr. Williams speak about the UWI scholarships. I will tell you, Mr. Williams, it is yours truly who negotiated for the scholarships, and I decided, let the Kalinago Council decide who they send to university. Let them do the selection of it. But this was negotiated between myself and Professor Hilary Beckles. When I said to him that, you know, we are both students of history and the Kalinago people have made a contribution and we need to have a special place for them at the University of West Indies. And then we carve out a broader program to include the indigenous people of Belize and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And so we have had a numerous number of students here taking advantage of the opportunities at the University of West Indies, all of whom are making a meaningful contribution to the development of Dominica. I want to say to our young people that you have education at your disposal. You have education at your disposal. Not too long ago, the late 90s, you going to college in Dominica was a novelty. It's 1, 2, 1, 2. Now we have dozens of you attending the state college, and now that it is free for everyone to attend, then you have to take advantage of the opportunity. And as we have done in the past, and will do in the present and the future, this government, through the Ministry of Kalinago Affairs, will provide each student to defray the cost of transportation, $1,000 per semester, so you can help pay your transportation to the college. So there'll be no reason why you should not attend and why you should not do well, because it is free and we pay the transportation for you to attend. So it is left to you to study and to do well at the state college. You're going to have, my dear Kalinago Chief, a major road improvement program here in the Kalinago territory from Sineku all the way down to Pegwa. And we will spend about $70 million on that section. The funds are available. We have signed the loan agreement with the World Bank. They have done the designs. We are now moving towards the tender for this project, and so that it will elevate and enhance the quality of the infrastructure in the Kalinago territory, and one understands the importance of the road network to economic prosperity. So look forward to this. In the first quarter of 2020, this project will commence. Over $70 million will be spent in that part of the country. Funds already approved and in the banks waiting to be spent. We've also relaunched the Community Road Enhancement Program. Prior to Hurricane Maria, we had started, and it is relaunched. And between Cozier and Cassius, they sent us a very long list of community roads, and we will be starting to have those roads implemented, and we'll share with you and your council a copy so that we can partner with you in getting this done. We also will be very soon instituting a comprehensive solar lighting program, which will benefit the Kalinago territory, and not only the main road, but also the secondary roads coming down to this model village, down to the church and elsewhere. And the interesting aspect of these solar lights is that it has two aspects. It has a wind turbine and also the solar panel. So in the event there is no sun, there is wind. If there is no wind, there is sun. So we'll always have the energy to propel the lights and so forth. There's some lights on the port. We're getting them cleared, and we'll roll out this to enhance the safety of the residents. And of course, keeping with our environmental perspective of protecting the environment, we go in green rather than relying solely on Dominic for this. So I say to you, my dear Kalinago Chief, you can rest assured of our commitment. People know of my deep and emotional connection to the Kalinago people, because I believe that from historical times, you have been a people who have gone through tremendous struggles. And I have always been appalled as a student of politics in the manner in which politicians have treated you. And this is why you have seen a transformation. Obviously, we've been impacted by this hurricane. But I do not think, if we say we are Christians, for anybody in this community or this country to question the commitment of this government, the investments that we have made in this Kalinago territory. And you haven't seen nothing yet. And with you there for the next 5 years, and I there for the next 5 years, you're going to have some serious work taking place in the Kalinago territory. Serious work taking place in the Kalinago territory. So the future of the Kalinago territory is extremely bright. Extremely bright. And all I need, I don't want anything else. All I need is cooperation and collaboration. Because I am not one to impose on you. Everything we do, we run it for the Kalinago Council. It is left to you to receive it on behalf of the people and get it going. Get it going. To facilitate your work, my Kalinago chief, we shall provide you with some additional tools to help you carry out your duties. And one of these tools will be to provide you with what I would call, and you could call it personally, you can use a different nomenclature if you want, but a council administrator would be a senior person to help with the administration and etc. of yourself, the council, so that we elevate the level of the Kalinago Council and the office of Kalinago Chief. So we shall exchange notes on this and to see how we proceed with it, but we can make this available immediately. And the second thing we will provide you is a fully maintained vehicle for the use of the Kalinago Chief in the carrying out of his duties. And as early as this week, we can engage the Secretary of the Cabinet so we can procure the vehicle to make it available to you, the Kalinago Chief, for the use in carrying out your duties. I also want you to look at the pension of the former Kalinago chiefs. I think it is something we need to look at. I think we have to appreciate contributions made by people. And we may have our issues with Mr. Williams, but we cannot discount the fact that he has made his contribution to the Kalinago territory. You see what I'm saying? You know, I don't worry, he's my good partner, you know. He's my good partners, you know. But he has made his contribution. I see Masclem here, Mr. Frederick. These people have made their contributions. My friend there, Mr. Joseph. And I think we have to recognize them. We can't allow leaders to be sent along the roadside and not recognize their contributions. And so I want you and my friend Cassius, Honorable Cassius Darrow, to sit down and advise me on how do we go about addressing this anomaly. Because I understand some of you will receive about $300 a month, you know, as your pension and so forth. We have to up the thing, and we have to give you a better recognition and so forth. So there are a number of very exciting projects. Time doesn't allow us, because I would like to have some cassava bread. You know, I don't want to speak too long and so on. But I am very excited as a patron of the Kalinago people about the future of the Kalinago territory. And I look forward to the cooperation and collaboration of yourselves and the Kalinago chief. And with Roosevelt Skerrit as the Prime Minister of this country, the Kalinago people know that they will be okay. That they'll be okay. And because there'll be people who will come there. See this, and for me, this is not about a vote. I keep telling people, this is not about a vote. When you want to represent people, you must have a conviction. You must stand for something. You must be principled. You can't play games, because when you play games, you're playing games with people's lives. You have to be sincere. And you know, we may have issues with cozier style, but he's a man of principle. You know, he of integrity. And these are things that are important. You never negotiate these things. You must always maintain your principle. And with principle, everything positive can happen. And by the grace of God, we will ensure that the Kalinago people will continue to receive the respect and the respectability that they deserve and that they have earned in this Commonwealth of Dominica. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, for the many plans that you have shared with us today. And as the Kalinago Chief and with my new council, I will work in collaboration with you to ensure that these plans come to success. Thank you. Right now, we'll have the presentation of fruit baskets to the President, Honorable Charles A. Sovereign, and his wife, Mrs. Sovereign. Presentation to a flower, to bouquet to Mrs. Sovereign. We have a presentation of a fruit basket to the Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit. Presentation of a bouquet to Miss Catherine Daniel, Honorable Catherine Daniel. And now we'll have our closing prayer by Mr. Vanti Auguste.
Let us please stand. We will now invoke the Great Spirit's blessing upon our chief and the councillors. Let us pray. O Great Spirit, whose voice we hear in the wind, whose breath gives life to all the world, hear, O Great Spirit, the voice of our chief, Lorenzo, the councillors, Janet, Gabriel, Alexander, Anthony, Marion, and Deborah, asking for your strength and wisdom. Make their hands respect the things you have made and their ears sharp to hear the Kalinago people's cry. Help our chief Lorenzo to remain calm and strong in the face of challenges and tribulations that would come towards him. Help also Janet, Gabriel, Alexander, Anthony, Marion, and Deborah to seek pure thoughts and act with integrity and intention of helping others. Help them to find compassion without empathy overwhelming them. Our chief seeks strength, not to be greater than anyone else, but to fight his greatest enemy, who is himself. I now invoke the blessing of our great ancestors upon all of us. May the sun bring you an energy by day. May the moon gently restore you by night. May the rain wash away your worries. May the breeze blow new strength into your being. May you walk gently through the world, through the territory, and know its beauty, and know that beauty all the days of your life. May the Great Spirit bless you.
We have the vote of thanks by our fellow councillor, Janet Williams.
His Excellency, President, Mr. Charles A. Savre, DAH, and Mrs. Savre, Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Investments, Housing and Lands, Honorable Catherine Daniel, Minister for Ecclesiastical Affairs, Family and Gender Affairs, Honorable Cassius Daru, Parliamentary Representative for the Salibia constituency and Minister for Kalinago Affairs. Other Ministers of Government, Mr. Glenroy Toussaint, Local Government Commissioner, Mr. Charles Williams, Outgoing Chief, or Kalinago Chief, Pastor Antonin Cornelius, Mr. Masclem Frederick, Justice of Peace, Mr. Vanti Ogis, former parliamentary representatives, Mr. Kozia Frederick, former Kalinago Chief and Councillors, our newly elected Chief and Council sworn in, other councils in the district, police officers, the media, invitees, and community residents. On behalf of the Kalinago Council, I am expressing sincere thanks and gratitude for your love and support on this our momentous occasion. To our Prime Minister and other officials, our President, thank you for gracing us here with your presence. To our former Chief and Councillors, we say thank you for your presence and look forward to working with you for a smooth transition into office. To the management and staff of the Kalinago Barana Oti, for your hard work to ensure that the surroundings is well kept. Special mention must be made of the NEP staff for being here in large numbers for their contribution towards the cause. To the decorating team, Melanie and Christabel, thank you for putting your talent and skills on display. The caterers, Rosemont and team, thank you for going beyond your normal hours and to have everything ready for us here today. To our family, friends, and well-wishers, thank you for placing your confidence in us and giving us the much-needed support as we put ourselves forward to serve our community. Residents of the Kalinago community, we look forward to working with you to ensure that better will come to our territory. I thank you.
Right now, we'll have some performances by the cultural groups within the Kalinago territory.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our first performance will come from the Carina Cultural Group. In fact, they are fresh from representing Dominica at Carifesta in Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, they gave a wonderful performance and a good representation of Dominica. The Carina Cultural Group from the Kalinago territory.
All right, Mabrika, sorry for my height. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are the Carina Cultural Group, and as you heard, we were in Trinidad, and we tried our utmost best to represent our Kalinago people and Dominica. And, yeah. Thank you. All right, so of course, Kalinago people, my Kalinago brothers and sisters, not in the territory alone, but all around the island, of course. All around the island, we have a little Kalinago, grandmother, grandfather, uncle, cousin, you know. So we all are Kalinago, right? Thank you. All right, so after all this election and, you know, party here and there, and everybody was supporting, of course, we expect one to win, one to lose, but life must move on. So we are going to sing a wonderful song, and we want you to join with us. We sing Unite, Unite. All right? And we want you all to stand up and hold hands. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. Unite, 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 my Kalinago people. That's why we unite. We came from the same generation, long before Columbus came. So let's not hurt each other. Let's not fight each other. I say, unite, 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 Kalinago people. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. I say, let we unite. We are one big family, coming from the same generation. So let's not hurt each other. Let's not fight each other. I say unite, 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 my Kalinago people. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. I say let we unite. We are one big family, living in our little territory. So let's not hurt each other. Let's not fight each other. I say unite, 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 Kalinago people. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. I say like we unite. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. Unite, 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 Kalinago people. I say like we unite. Yes, let's unite. Thank you. And our next performance, we are going to do the Cicero dance, dance of the Cicero.
That was the Karina Cultural Group. I like the Cicero dance. I wish I could do that. I will learn later. All right. At this time, our next group, of course, is the Kalinago Dancers. They've been in existence for the last 11 years. It's a group of dynamic, energetic young people. And they gave me an adjective to use, but I'm not sure if I remember the adjective. They gave it to me in Kalinago language. And while I'm coming up here, I forgot it. So but yeah, a dynamic, young, energetic group from the Kalinago territory, the Kalinago Dancers. Gentlemen, that was the Kalinago dancers. They told me the first one they did was basically depicting the fishing industry. So they were sending out their lines and they were catching the fish. And the second one was a bird dance. I'm not sure which bird. It's a Kalinago bird. I'm not sure. But the Kalinago dancers. And so that's where we've come to the end for the entertainment part of our wonderful Kalinago Council inauguration. In fact, it's a wonderful time. I'm very much pleased to see so many of you here, and I'm looking forward for that sort of solidarity to continue during the term of office of this council and councils beyond. So don't just leave them there tonight and say, congratulations, thank you very much, we appreciate that. No. From tomorrow, you have to be with them until the end of time. All right? So that's the end of our official ceremony. I'm sure that the Kalinago people and the Kalinago Council will, of course, grace us with some wonderful Kalinago dishes. I'm just talking on behalf of the Kalinago chief, although chief, you were the one who's supposed to tell us that. But since I have now become a Kalinago, I have taken the privilege. All right, so stay in your seats. I'm sure there is some refreshment from the Kalinago people, and we'll sort of arrange again so that we'll get the Honorable Prime Minister and His Excellency the President and his wife to be back on stage to be part and parcel of this Kalinago cuisine. Thank you very much.
No vini pour musique. Kalinago, Kalinago. No vini pour jouer tambour. Kalinago. No vini pour faire danser. Kalinago, Kalinago. No vini pour amuser. Kalinago. No vini pour jouer musique. Kalinago, Kalinago. No vini rouler tambour. Kalinago. No vini pour faire danser. Kalinago, Kalinago. No vini pour